It is Flow Friday, and today we are talking about how you can surrender to flow so your life has more ease. Welcome.
You can live a life in flow where your deepest heart's desires become reality.
You are here to contribute through your essence, fall deeper in love with your life and the journey that you are on.
Take what works, ditch the rest, and always stay set to love.
Thank you for being a part of this community. We're all designed to live in flow. So let's go.
Good morning.
Good morning, best friend. Happy Flow Friday, April 30th. How are you?
Oh my gosh, almost another month gone.
I'm just amazed at how quickly time goes by. It just blows my mind, especially, I can really see it in my kids when I look at like pictures from just a year ago. It's like once they hit a certain age, 18, 19, 20, they sort of look the same for a while.
Yeah.
But when they're young, it's like every year you just realize, dang, time's going by because they change so quickly. I was picking them to school this morning and just thought, oh my gosh, I better cherish every single moment I get because before I know it, they're going to be gone out of this house. And I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I'm going to have to surrender to flow.
Yes.
Wherever life takes me at that time.
Watching Harper, can you believe May 14th is a year?
Wow.
She has grown so quickly. So
She's
it's
almost
even past,
a year old.
Yes.
Are you guys having a party?
Pardon?
Are you having a party? What are you guys doing?
We are. We're going to do something at the beach. You know how she loves the sand and the beach.
I
So
love
she's
that.
Going to have being outside is still a little better thing to do. And yeah, we're really excited about it. Yep. And
so
she's
awesome.
just so much fun.
That is so
much
awesome.
fun.
Yay. I want to let people know. So Shelley and I have been working on creating a coaching program and working with people on how to create more flow in their lives. I mean, it's the whole reason why we started this podcast. So I'm just going to pop something up for people who only stick around for the first part of the show for whatever reason. But if you are looking to create more flow in your life, send us an email, settolovepodcast@gmail.com. Things that we can help you with, healing from your past. If you're holding on to things and it's hard to let go for you, we are great at helping you heal. There's so many different techniques. Surrendering to the present moment so you can discover more ease in your life. How do you do that? And we're going to be talking about some of that today. And also moving courageously towards your deepest heart's desires. We know that there is something inside of every single person that is like, it might be a tiny little flame and you may not even be able to recognize it right now, but there is something in you that wants to come out and explore this world. And so if we can help kindle that for you and bring that out so that way you can have more flow in your life, reach out to us. That's settolovepodcast@gmail.com. So let's dive in to how to surrender to flow. I thought about this because I was listening to Gabby Bernstein and she was talking about surrendering. And I loved that idea of willingly sort of giving yourself over to this idea that there's a way for us to show up in this world with more ease. And that's something that you and I practice every single day. And we call it living in flow. It's beyond that flow state. It's beyond like diving into a project for a couple hours and getting lost into it. It's really about how you show up every single day as a human and how you treat yourself and how you interact with others and how you deal with your past, your present, and your future. So how do you surrender to flow? And Shelley, I'll just start off with talking about bringing up one of the ideas. I've got three, and then I would love to hear your feedback and what you think, and maybe even how you might reframe what it is that I'm saying. So the first one is accept what is with love. So for me, I think about, well, what is? Okay, I didn't choose my parents, or maybe I did in some pre-existence. I don't know. Regardless, it is what it is. There's choices I've made in my past that I'm not proud of, but it is what it is. There are things that other people have done in my life that have somehow caused trauma or pain or suffering. And I think when we hold on to that pain, we hold on to that suffering, and we don't view it through a perspective of love and grace, then it can weigh us down and it can really keep us from finding our flow and moving forward. So one of the things that for me was just really reframing my past. And how I did that was I became really grateful for my present moment. And when you can be super grateful for the life that you have right now, and you can truly appreciate the things in this moment, then the only reason you're here in this moment and experiencing everything you're experiencing is because of every single decision that was ever made prior to this moment. So you can be grateful for every single one of those, because had one tiny thing changed, you wouldn't be where you are today. For better or worse, I don't know, but it doesn't matter, because here's where you are. So for me, it just helps to put that lens on that says, I'm just going to love whatever has happened because it's brought me to this present moment. And there are so many things that I'm super grateful for. So I can just let it go, and I can forgive, and I can love, and I truly believe that we're all on our own journey, and that we're all beautiful and whole. And sometimes we just make choices that aren't in alignment, but that's part of life, is that evolution, that growing and that learning, and giving myself and others that grace has really helped me to find more flow in my life. What do you think about that, Shelley?
I think that's beautiful what you said. And coming from love is where we all really want to be. Yet I also feel like some people might not be in a space
Mm,
where they're even feeling any love. So I
right.
would reframe it by saying, accept what you can't change.
Mm,
There, your past is your past. And maybe, for the start of this, you can find love in it. And that's what we're trying to help you to see, is that what other options do you have? Are you going to stay angry, stay mad, stay hurt, stay a victim? Or are you going to try, start with yourself, love yourself, forgive yourself, and look at the things and the mistakes you have made and how you want to be forgiven for things, because none of us have a clean slate in
right.
our lives. And
Right.
so I think, I've had times where, I was just talking to my mom about it yesterday, about things that have hurt me growing up or whatever, but to really be in a place where I just love my mother so much, and I wouldn't trade any of it for anything. Like, she's the best mom, but we didn't get through everything perfectly. There's
Mhm.
family issues, there's divorces, there's all kinds of stuff. But for me, I just feel like I also think there's people out there that are just still so flippin' mad at the world, and that's why Flow began, because we want to give people a place to start. And
Mhm.
I believe that if you start with yourself and you really humble yourself and say, you know what? I've made some poor choices. I'm going to take my part, and I'm going to love myself, forgive myself, and then do that unto others. That's what
Mm.
that means to me, what you just said.
Absolutely. I love that, Shelley. And it's like, no matter what, we're still going to mess up moving forward. We're still going to do things that we're disappointed in. Other people are going to disappoint us. And there's no getting around that. You can read 100 personal development books. You could listen to 100,000 podcasts. This is just life. And so truly just accepting what is, and I don't want to say being the bigger person, but truly just being able to hold space for yourself and for others, I think. And it takes practice. It's like
Yep.
learning to run, or learning to, because our go-to is just to be angry and hostile. It's like it's easy to default into those negative emotions and behaviors. It's until it's not, like, until you become so immersed in, like, your default is putting on that lens of love and looking at it first through those eyes, that lens, that filter. Once that becomes your go-to every day, it's like that anger might come in initially, but you're going to be aware of it, you're going to catch it, and you're going to sit back and go, okay, hold on, breathe. I see you, anger. I see your frustration. I see you, disappointment. I'm going to wrap my arms around you and love you, because you're there to protect me. And I appreciate you. And this is what it means to be human. But I'm now going to look at it through a different lens. So I love that,
And
Shelley.
that too, I feel like what I did at the very beginning,
Mm-hmm.
um, uh, to learn flow, when
Yeah.
you were teaching me about some of your concepts, I remember, just so that I would remember, I made Post-its. And I even had them in my car, just on, like, right by the stereo, or if I got mad in the car, or when I would wake up in the morning, I would want to be hard on myself, or whatever my
Mhm.
situation was. I had these little reminder post-its. You could write it on your mirror, in your rearview mirror,
Mhm.
whatever. Come from love. It's all about love, whatever you want. But if you just see that word love,
Yeah.
and when you go to get aggravated, you have that reminder right there. Okay, come from love. I'm going to fake it till I make it, but I'm going to come from love. And
Yep.
eventually, 21 days, that's a new habit, And so I really think that helped me a lot. So for those of you who really don't know how to start,
Yeah.
get post-its.
Right. And that's like that ties into what I just said a little bit earlier, and that goes to my point too, is honor how you feel. So when that thing does come in, it's not, we're not saying, oh, just poo poo your sadness away, your frustration, or your jealousy, or whatever it is you might be feeling that feels like a heavy weighted emotion. Just see it, honor it, but then make a different choice on how you respond. You can always choose love. It is a choice. You get to choose how you hold on to that stuff. And when you wake up in the middle of the night and you have anxiety and your thoughts are racing, you can choose different thoughts. You can pick different thoughts. You can hold different things in your heart and in your mind. And it takes practice. And this is why things like meditation and having a little 5-minute everyday meditation practice, because the voice in your head can be really strong and it can dominate over those good feelings when that's your go-to all the time. So choosing love and honoring how you feel, and then choosing love anyway,
Yep.
is super important. Um, and I also want to say, be open to what can be. So when I'm in a situation where I think the only way is this way, I have to pause and I say, that is not the only way, Eva. There's several different ways this can go. I don't even know the possibilities. My frame of reference is only so big. And so this is why it's important to have a coach or have a sister or have a best friend or someone, a therapist, heck, someone else that you can go to say, here's my situation. I'm looking for strategies on like, what's possible for me and how can I reframe this? Like, I'm stuck in how I feel. I can't move past my anger. I can't move past my jealousy. I can't move past when you're in a place where you can't, it's because you're in tunnel vision and you think it only has to be a certain way. And I'm telling you, that's not how we are. There are so many possibilities. But it's hard when you feel very constricted and like there's no choice besides one road.
And I think too, what if how many times have people thought, wow, I didn't think they were going to react like that, and it was a positive way that
Right.
they reacted, or they weren't concerned about something, or that's like, be careful about what you even tell yourself, the stories we make up to tell ourselves that things aren't going to work out, where your attitude needs to be the cup is half full.
Right.
And uh, you know be open to that, it's just going to be great. Like, it doesn't have to be bad. What about if it's just going to be good?
Yeah. And believing that, and believing like no matter what comes, I'm going to be able to handle it because I'm coming at it. I'm always going to look through a lens of love. So no matter what happens, I'm going to find value in it and I'm going to look through a lens of love. And I'm telling you what happens is when you start to do that, the constriction melts away and you have this sense of freedom. And with that freedom, that's when your mind and your heart opens up. That's when you can, whether it's in prayer, whether it's in meditation, whether it's talking to the universe in your car, and you can just say, okay, I'm looking for options. I'm going to put my awareness into being open to look for options on what's my next move. And you don't have to think 5 moves from now, whether it's in a relationship, your career, anything that you're dealing with. You just think of the next best move. What is the next best, most loving, compassionate choice that might require a little bit of courage, probably does, and take that step. That's all you have to do is what is the next courageous, best step that is done through a lens of love.
Well, and I think that when you say it like that, two things come to mind. One thing that really sticks with me is this: it doesn't change overnight. Your way of
Mm,
thinking doesn't. I think I think like 3 months in for me. I mean, it started working right away, but after like 3 months, it was automatic. Like it
Mm,
just always entered my mind. And then other times I might forget a little bit, but the more I practiced it, the more it just was naturally
right.
there, you
And do you
know?
know what I love, Shelley, about you implementing this sort of way of being, this living in flow mindset, if
Uh-huh.
you will, is all of a sudden your family is now coming to you. I mean, they were always coming to you, but now it's like, Shelley, what do we do? Or when things would come up, you wouldn't just default to crazy town. You were like, okay, we got this. Hold on a second.
Yep.
And so you become this like bright lighthouse in your own family of a different way of showing up and being. And I want to ask you, have you noticed like in the last year and a half, 2 years that this has been something you've been working on? Have you noticed that the people in and around your life are acting differently? Do you notice that they pick up
Oh,
flow like
absolutely.
perspectives?
But more so than that too,
Yeah.
I think it feels really good to not feel so stressed. It doesn't
Mm,
mean, like you said, people still come to me or whatever, but I'm not really reactive like I used to be. Meaning like I don't panic all of a sudden, or I'll let something sit for a while, or so that has made me much more relaxed. And I've given myself and honoring myself time to think, and how do I react to something. um it makes you more confident in yourself, that even if someone has a different opinion, that's okay with me. You
right.
can think whatever you want to think, but I don't have to feel that same way. And I can have space for yours, and you can have space for mine. And in that, I just really think that you have an overall everyday calmness, which is comes from love. And
Yes.
so I also think when you start, you know what I mean? When you really start to be the one, what I've noticed is then people react the way that I react. So instead of, if I was going to be reactive and be angry, then the other person's going to be angry.
Yes.
But if I come from love and talk to the person in a loving way and accepting, okay, this is where you're at right now. Maybe we need blah, blah. But whatever that is, then they come back in a much more positive attitude.
Right.
Doesn't mean that you're never going to have conflict, but you handle that conflict differently. And it maybe something that would have lasted a week only lasts half the day.
Mm, I love that. You're right, because they're mirroring that instead of
Yes.
your energy coming in hot and heavy, and then them, and then you, and then them, and then you. And next thing you know, you're in the tornado of crazy town. It's
Yep.
like they might come in hot, but you're like, okay, we got this. We're going to figure this out. Everything's going to be okay. I
Yep.
don't have all the answers yet. Give me a day to think about this and we'll figure
Exactly.
it out. And that's, one last thing. I know we're a little bit over our time, but hey, it's Flow Friday. When I was dropping Braden off at school today, I dropped the twins off at elementary school, Evan at the junior high, and then Braden at the high school, and swung back here for the show. I was thinking about how I have no conflict with my children. And I don't know whether if I'm like lucky or what it is, but when I look out into the world and I watch TV, which I don't do a lot of, but there always seems like these parent-child conflicts, and like it's a struggle. And being a parent, you've got these teenagers, and parents are always saying how like teenagers. But I'm like, I have great relationships with my kids. My kids are great kids. They make great choices. They get to show up wholeheartedly. They get to really be in their own flow. And I've just surrendered what I think it means to be a parent. Like I just surrender to who they are. I just love them where they're at. I know they're all on their own journeys. I don't set up crazy expectations like when it comes to school or sports or whatever they're involved in. I'm just like, do your best. And no matter how upset or crazy they might be, or yelling at me about something, maybe, like, but mom, he said, I'm always just like, I try, maybe not always, but I just try to be that soft voice, that soft place to land. And so I think that creates this beautiful relationship with the parent and kids. I drove away today feeling just so blessed and lucky that I don't have some of those same problems that I think might be in other families where they don't really like their kids. They don't get along and their kids don't like the parents. And
But
I
I
think
also
that's
feel
a
like
shame.
part of that is it may not even be the kids. It just could be that there's so much conflict in Crazy Town in the home that,
Right.
it's like I feel like you're talking about my kids feeding off of me. I feel like your kids feed off of you and your energy, and it just goes through the household.
Yeah.
And
Look, this is my house. Like I
yeah,
got this
but
kind of stuff everywhere.
I mean, I feel that way even in my marriage. I feel like Bob and I just really have a peaceful marriage,
Mhm.
and I'm still excited to see him even when he's just been outside all day or whatever
Right.
it is. It's really a beautiful life. But and I think everybody can have this.
Yes.
I
And you know
don't
what,
think
Shelley, what you said was key. I think if there's craziness in your house, start with you. What are
yes,
you doing to contribute to that? Like what energy are you bringing into the home? And where is your mindset? Where is your heart? And when
yes,
you can start working on you and truly loving yourself and bringing a different energy into your home, then the vibe will shift. Everything will start to change and there will
and
be
your
more
kids
love.
will
There will be more
change.
compassion. Yeah.
I think all your kids, our families are all we have, and it's so precious. And they're all good. I really believe that they're all good. I just think we overschedule. We have too high of expectations sometimes,
Absolutely.
or you want your kids to be what you want them to be instead of following their own journey. There's so many things, and that's why it's so important. I know we have to go, but that's why I do think it's so important to have some of those coaching calls, because maybe if we could get your mind to just shift a little bit to accept
Right.
what you can't change and to start with you. These are important things that you could implement in your life. That's really simple that you could start today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that. So with that, Shelley, let's just pop this up one more time. If you're interested in getting unstuck, finding more flow, finding more love and peace and ease in your life, reach out to us, settolovepodcast@gmail.com. We'll send you a link. We'll book a discovery call. Sometimes, honestly, Shelley, I think working even just the first, free 45-minute whatever call that we might get on with you, that might be all you need. Maybe it's just a tiny tweaking in a situation and you apply that into your life and all of a sudden you're going to like the floodgates will open and you will start heading in a new direction and then you can just go back and watch a bunch of episodes. That's what my sister, she said. I said, what, tell me something in your life. Oh my gosh, why do we keep talking? I said, why do you think your life has adjusted and shifted so much? And she's like, well, one of the things is I started watching your podcast every single day and just hearing this kind of way of
Positivity.
showing up, it like really has changed her perspective and she has so much flow in her life right now. So many beautiful things are happening and it's so different from where her life was a year ago. She was in such a different place, her and her family. And today they're like just experiencing so much more joy and love and peace. And I'm so grateful for that. But it takes effort.
It does. But 15 minutes a day just to listen to some positivity is
Yeah.
not that hard. Do it in
Right.
your car. I mean, you can put it on your iPhone or whatever while you're showering and have it on loud just so that you can hear it, or when you're putting your makeup on or whatever. It takes 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a
Or
deal.
today, 24. But
All
I
right, well,
love
let's
you.
go.
This is important. This is why we do this. Like we truly are. I hope people can feel that we believe this. This isn't like
Yes.
just something that we're preaching. We practice this every
Yes.
single day, every single day. So thank you guys so much for being here, for being in our lives and for being a part of the show and sticking around for 24 minutes today. We're at settolove.com. Again, our email is lovepodcast@gmail.com. We are here weekday mornings, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube and Facebook. And please send this out to someone that you think might need it. If you've made it this far, then reach out to us. There's a reason you're seeing this. There are
And
no
we
mistakes.
care. We
We do.
really care.
Love you, best friends.
Love you.
Have a
You
great
guys
weekend,
be
everyone.
well.